And now, another episode of the Game Changers podcast with Sydney and Luke Hurst.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Game Changers podcast. It has been a little while. I apologize for that, but we finally got a really cool guest coming on a little bit later in the episode. But we'll start out a little bit with what's going on with us, what's going on in the world of sports, and I guess to start with me in my senior year. I think this is the first episode since we've been back at school. I'm back at the University of South Carolina. Senior year, it's been pretty fun. Interning, looking for internships for next summer, entry-level jobs once I graduate and enter the big, scary adult world. But I did just receive a part-time job within the academic department in the athletic department here as an academic coach. So that hasn't started yet, but very, very excited for that. Get to work with athletes. It'll be super fun, I assume. But it just started, so that's my update. Luke, how are you? How are we doing?
I'm doing well. Just started to do my junior year because Sydney is skipping a year because she had credits going into college. I didn't. And so I'm in my junior year. We just started playing some fall ball. Our fall season, we play 24 days of baseball. It's going pretty well so far. Classes are hard, but that's normal. So we're struggling through that, but we'll make it.
He's gonna make it. He's gonna make it, guys.
But no, baseball's going well. Classes are going well. Life's going well. So yeah, I have no complaints really. It's just trying to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
He's killing it, guys. Killing it. It's so funny whenever I tell people that I'm a twin, and I'm like, we're in different grades, but also like we're still the same age. Also, I'm graduating because I came in with credits. Everyone's like, wow, you're so smart. And I'm like, no, I'm kind of ready to have a job in the sports industry. So I'm working on getting a job in baseball, done some interviews with some big teams, some big people, and been telling Luke all about it. He's been helping me with that, the research and everything with that. And also not closing off the door to working in golf. So that might be a thing as well. Going along with that, our lovely Orioles did clinch to the postseason.
Yes, they did. They clinched yesterday, which as we're filming this, it's actually 2 days ago. On September 24th, they clinched against the Yankees, and then they won the 20 yesterday, which was the 25th.
Which was
again,
a scary game.
After they've had a horrible fall. Their second half has been atrocious. How they're still in the playoff hunt blows my mind. But I'm glad that they have found something here recently, and maybe this is a sign of what's to come. Like maybe they're going to actually play well in the postseason, but we will see. I'm optimistic, but I'm not confident, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, you want them to win, but it wouldn't. I mean, there are a lot of teams though that do really, really well in the postseason. They kind of save all of their energy and they bring out the big guns for the postseason. This could be the Orioles. But yeah, yesterday's game was not fun to watch towards the end. It was 9-3 or something, and then
it was 9-7.
Andre the Giant, Aaron Judge, hits a 3-run bomb. So that didn't really help. But I think we're looking pretty good. And you know what? We clinched, and I have probably a little bit more confidence than you do, but I also am very optimistic that we can.
Yeah, it is the first time in 27 years that the Orioles have made the postseason in back-to-back seasons, which is pretty insane. But yeah, I just don't know about the starting pitching. If they can hit, it'll be better, but they have lost an entire starting rotation plus a couple guys. So they only really, no offense to everybody else, they only really have Corbin Burns and Zach Eflin and Dean Kramer. That's three guys. Yes, you only really need three guys in the postseason, but
if they perform.
It's if they perform. And they may just move the other guys to the bullpen because in the postseason you don't need 5 starters anymore. You only need 3 because of the off days. But those guys need to need to pitch well, and they're pitching well right now, which is good. So I'm hoping that they use those three and they hit the ball. They hit, they win. It's that simple. They hit, they win. Because they haven't been hitting.
It's true.
Their hitting has been the worst in the last 2 months, and they need to hit. Plain and simple.
I just hope that when we go to play, that we don't get outbeat, or that we don't lose, because basically I want to make sure that we have our whole potential and we leave it on the field. I would rather a team beat us because they played better
Yes.
than we sucked, you know?
I agree. Yep.
So I'm hoping that we pull all of our tricks, our skills, and I really hope that this postseason is great. But there's some pretty great teams.
No,
I
there's
had a
some
whole
really good.
conversation in one of my classes yesterday. I did a presentation on the White Sox, and we were talking about different stadiums because my professor has been to every single baseball stadium in the country.
That's a
And
dream. That's a dream.
right. And so we had a long conversation. This is a finance class, and we had probably about a 15-minute conversation about, why the Orioles, they're doing, they were, doing very well this year, yet their attendance is down. But then I was like, why, Padres are always amazing. They're great this year, but their attendance is fantastic. And he said their stadium and their environment, people go just for the stadium. They'll go for it's like in hockey. They'll go for the pregame, and they don't even watch. They'll buy tickets for the pregame and not even watch the game, because some people do it so well,
Yeah.
which is very interesting. It's all about, I just thought it was very interesting relating to sports.
It matters because like you go to I've been to Tropicana Field, which everybody says is the worst stadium in baseball. Now there are some reasons it's the worst stadium in baseball. Like I do agree that it is the worst stadium in baseball, but
I think there's some
I
really
haven't
bad ones,
been to the
though.
rest of them. So I didn't think that the atmosphere was as good as it could have been. Like they didn't have anything going on in between innings. They didn't have anything that was like out of the ordinary that was cool besides the Ray tank in right center. Um, Now I thought it was a good stadium in the sense that it was cool to be there. Like it was cool to be in a dome. It's my first time ever being in a dome baseball stadium. It was cool to like see baseball in that type of sense. But the only bad thing I didn't like about it was that the seats were too close together. Like you were literally sitting in a square box that was like that big.
Yeah.
But there was just nothing going on in between innings. Like at Camden Yards, when we go to Camden Yards, they have the crab shuffle, they have the hot dog race, they
Now
have
they've got that like
they have
splash
little
zone
games
thing.
that they play with fans in between innings. They didn't have that, so that's something to me that's like that needs to like maybe change, because if you do
Right.
that, then that adds some little pizzazz to it. And like in San Diego, they have so many things going on, and it's a beautiful stadium. They have the Western Metal Supply Company building and left that adds character. Same with Camden Yards, they have the
Beautiful.
warehouse and the city in the background. It just adds character. But in Tropicana, there's nothing like that. And in White Sox, there's really nothing like that either.
No.
So it doesn't help that your team sucks. So
Well, no, but it also, like, it's a job. But it's also, you can't have it without fans, and you have
Yeah.
to, in order to have fans, you have to have a reason they want to come to your
I agree.
games. There's so many. What I'm learning through my classes and through watching these things is that this is, you're not going to have a beneficial revenue stream in a concert if you have no people going to the concert. It's very similar. Why do you think the Savannah Bananas are so good? Like so popular.
Yeah.
It's very different than like an actual baseball game, but not really. They have a lot of stuff going on. People enjoy it. They pay triple what you pay to get into an MLB game to go watch the Savannah Bananas. I just think it's very interesting. There's a lot of aspects of baseball and sports in general that people see. I think it's really interesting to look at that. But it, the record of the team, like the White Sox, definitely has to do with the attendance. But like the Orioles have a fantastic stadium.
Yeah, I agree.
I wish more people would go. But that's my 2 cents for the day.
Yeah. I just think that the level of atmosphere that you have at your stadium is going to impact the way your team plays, the amount of fans you bring in, and the amount of fans you bring in will impact the way your team plays.
Oh yeah.
A's perfect example. That team has that stadium and that owner and everything that team organization has going on has brought in this amount of fans. And when you bring in no fans, the players have no energy. There's no atmosphere to bring the players to want to win more. And if you can talk to players, they love the good atmosphere. It makes them want to play better. So I just think that if you have a better atmosphere, more things to do in the stadium, do things that make people want to come, will then add more more wins to your team's organization. But that's just my opinion. But yeah,
I hear you. I agree.
so yeah, stay tuned for the playoffs. They start October
so
1st, I
excited.
believe.
Yeah, well, going along with that, we filmed a very fun, exciting, informational podcast episode earlier this week. So we are going to kind of dive right into that. Our special guest was just drafted by the Astros. I worked with him at P27 Baseball Academy. He is incredible. Here he is.
All right, guys, we've got a very special guest today. Ethan Wagner has joined us.
Yo.
How are you doing?
Doing good, living the life. I'm in my off season, so I'm just chilling.
Where are you right now? It looks very green behind you.
Yeah, I'm in beautiful Spring Arbor, Michigan. So I'm up here visiting my girlfriend, and I'm staying with a teammate
Very
from high
nice.
school. So good
Cool.
times,
Are you
bud.
now? Yeah, where are you from? Tell the people.
Yeah, so born and raised, 16 years, Chicago, Illinois. Actually just west of Chicago. And then, yeah, I went to a baseball academy. That's where I met you, actually. Went there for
Yes.
my last 2 years. And my family, while I was there in school, they moved to Tennessee. So that's kind of where I live now. Now I'm just bouncing back and forth between Michigan and Tennessee right now until spring
That's
training.
awesome.
So, yeah.
Very cool. So, for those of you, a little bit of a backstory. So, I talk about P27 all the time on here. Ethan was there actually before I got there, but that's how I met him. And then he got drafted by the Astros this year, this past draft. So, tell us a little bit about that. What was that whole process like from going from being in Chicago to then being away from home, away from your family, new place at an academy to then being drafted?
Yeah. Oh wow, we're going way back. I
Way
gotta
back.
think back to those years. Yeah, so I
Yeah, really
didn't
channel your inner child.
right? I think it was really tough getting exposure in that area, especially because like my freshman sophomore year was COVID year.
Hmm.
Especially up north, I know it was a lot harder. Um, but then yeah, Corey, the head of P27, gave me the opportunity, and I knew I had to go down south. That's where baseball is. So went down there first year, kind of made an impact on the older team. I was hitting leadoff, so I was like, dang, okay, let's go. Senior year, I knew I was coming in kind of the leader and was gonna have a good shot at getting drafted, and ended up like setting some records, hitting really well, hit a lot of home runs, a lot of hits, and
Yeah,
yeah,
power hitter, guys. Power hitter.
got. But yeah, then I was actually at Tennessee like 10 days before the draft, University of Tennessee. So I was there, I was kind of getting settled in, kind of getting the lay of the land, and then got drafted, picked a little bit later than I thought, but I knew that I wanted to be a pro, so I signed. But then went there for 2 months, and now I'm here. So I was at the
That's
complex training,
awesome.
living the pro ball life. So never regretted it once.
How how was that whole process? So basically what I mean by that is you went to the complex. What was that like to be around people that were all pros? Um, Give us a little bit of what your day to day looked like and how your dream coming true really felt like.
Yeah, I think it was an easier adjustment for me than most. Um, just coming out of the academy ball.
Hmm.
I guess it was kind of like coming out of JUCO, and it's like that really was all we did. We didn't really do school at all, so I was
Hmm.
used to just the really long days of baseball. So as far as like the baseball stuff, wasn't too shocked or like whoa. It was more so just like just meeting everyone, like just so many names at once, and you're like you don't want to offend
Yeah.
anyone by being like, yo, what's your name again? Because they're like, they're probably someone important that you forgot their name, but there's just so many people you can't keep up with it all.
Right.
But really, everyone was like way more inviting and understanding than I thought. Like nobody was really like big time, or I'm not sure if that's
Hmm.
every program, but like they really were really like welcoming and understanding. Like, hey, you have a million people getting thrown at you once, and all these answers, like all these questions that you have that we don't have answers to, and like all these things going on at once. You're living on your own in a hotel, and there's a bus at this time, and so like they just understand that that first month or two you're kind of just figuring everything out, and you're probably nervous, but everyone's there for you. They want you to do good. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I loved it. Those first 2 months, like, I had so much fun. Even though it was a long year, like starting high school ball in kind of like January, we started scrimmages, and then you're like, wow, it's end of September, or
Hmm.
it's end of August, beginning of September, and you're like, geez, we have just go 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 go. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
nice to be here now in the off season,
Yeah.
and looking forward to my first full season. But
Now, when
yeah,
does that start for you? When would you kind of report back?
yeah, spring training. I'll probably go back to little camps here this off season. I go back end of October till Thanksgiving, but the
Very cool.
spring training should be like second week of February, early March, and then you're
Oh, it'll
there
be here in
for
no time.
the rest of the year. Oh yeah, I can already feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be great. Enjoy the nothing happening right now, be able to
Right,
actually breathe. It's going to be
exactly.
so exciting though. I'm looking forward to watching it. Now when you went, obviously I mean every pro guy has been through the process of being new and having a million and a half questions. And obviously I definitely can understand how P27 really helped with that. It's like a smaller version of that. People who are really there to answer all your questions. You had Corey, you had Tina, you had all of the staff members that were adults that were, ready to help you. When you get to the pros, it's probably a little bit different. Did anybody take you kind of under their wing? Did you have anyone that really clicked right away and you spent most of your time with?
Yeah, I mean, you get to spend a lot of time. We have individual position coaches, so that's like mainly the people you spend a lot of time with. So
Hmm.
my position coach was actually the manager at the complex. His name's Lugo. But just a really solid guy. He's from the DR, just funny, super. Everyone's really relaxed.
Hmm.
Um, but he just had all sorts of like just a lot of wisdom. Some days we would be waiting for like practice. We're just sitting in the dugout. But for the first like 20 minutes of practice, we're just in the dugout talking about something. Like sometimes it's deep, sometimes it's not deep at all. Uh,
Yeah.
but just like a lot of good wisdom just on like, hey, you're not going to be feeling it every day. That's good. That doesn't mean you don't love baseball. It's just like some days you don't want to go to work. But he said like being a
Hmm.
pro is just doing it anyway and acting like you're
Yeah.
having fun and just getting through the day. Um,
Hmm.
but just like all like little nuggets of like wisdom like that. And then I had a really good roommate, Ryan Matheson, towards the end of my 2 months there, uh, which he was obviously still figuring it out with me. He got drafted out of
Right.
college, so we're kind of both figuring it out. But just to have that, like a good guy, and we could just be honest with each other with where we're at and what we're feeling. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
pretty
Someone
clutch.
going through it with you. Yeah,
Right, exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, your older brother was also drafted out of P27, yes?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. He got drafted by the Dodgers, correct?
Yep.
If I'm not
Dodgers,
mistaken. Okay,
sixth round.
gotcha. Now, growing up, you both played baseball. Did you ever play on the same team?
Yeah, we did a handful of times. Um, We did in travel ball mainly. I would play like 2 years up. That was really the only time we ever played together. And it was really like there's probably only like 3 games. But I wish we could. I hope one day we end up on the same team. I just think that'd be sick.
That would
So
be really cool.
yeah, we're both Chinese, so maybe we could maybe play for Team China. There's a
Oh, I'm so
possibility.
here for
I'm not
it.
saying anything, but there's a possibility.
Put it out into the universe and it's gonna happen.
Yeah, there's a
I'm ready.
possibility.
Would you rather play on the same team as him or play against him?
Mm, I don't know. I think either would be cool, but I think playing together would
Yeah.
just like he plays third and first. I'm picturing me in like the outfield, like hitting a cutoff, throwing it to him, or from right field, throwing it all the way to third. He tags him, and I'm like, we're pointing at each other. Hey, let's go, or like knocking him
Yeah.
in. Like he's on third, I knock him in, and like, let's go, dude. You know,
Yeah. Oh, that's
I think
awesome.
I would
Oh, that's so
I'd rather
fun.
play with him for sure.
Oh, 100%. That's cool though. I feel like there's a lot of siblings who wouldn't want that. But you played together at P27 and growing up. So, and I mean, do you feel any sort of competition with him? I know y'all don't have the same position, so there's a little less. It's not like you both are catchers or you're both third
Hmm.
basemen. Um, but did you feel like any sort of competition or like you needed to? I mean, obviously there's something that y'all's parents are feeding you that you both got drafted, but did you ever feel the need to kind of live up and um also get drafted or feel any sort of competition?
I don't think it's ever been like that in our family. Like we genuinely
That's
just
great.
want each other to succeed. And
Hmm.
like by him succeeding doesn't mean that I have to fail. Like we can both just succeed. So it's like
Yeah,
why would you hate on someone else when you guys can both
right.
just do well, especially like your own brother.
Yeah.
It's not like
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
we're not on the same team fighting for the same spot. Maybe
Right.
that's a different thing, but like hey, I could get to the big leagues for the Astros. He could get to the big leagues for the Dodgers. So let's
Right.
both help out
And
each other. And that's really not
right.
like even with teammates, like people think it's super like cutthroat, but like the people at the complex, like technically you're competing against them to get moved up, but it's really not like that. Like everyone wants you just to get better. You be a good teammate. It's not like super cutthroat. Like that's really not
Hmm.
the culture behind it. Everyone wants each other to do well. You don't want guys to get hurt. Like you hate to see it.
Right.
Like you're not preying on
Right.
people's downfall like that.
Nice to hear that everyone wants that. And I could tell that when you were saying that you'd want to be on the same team as your brother, like without me even asking that question.
Yeah.
Um, that and being an athlete, you have individual goals. You have
Right.
goals, oh, I want to do this, oh, I want to do that, different than the person next to you. So,
Yeah.
that's really nice to hear too. Do you still communicate like with your brother often and with your family and everything like that?
Yeah. Try to call my mom every day. Sometimes I'm good at that. Sometimes I'm like, dang, it's been too long. But yeah, I mean it's tough with Logan. He's out on the West Coast, so time
Mm,
change. But every time we can get on a phone call, it usually lasts a while. And we're looking forward to this off season, trying to train together and just bounce ideas off each other, while also
yeah,
just hanging out, just because baseball is not our whole life. So probably go play
right.
pickleball, go fishing or something, do something fun.
Fun.
But
I've never played pickleball. My roommate's
yeah,
trying to get me to go play pickleball.
you got to. That's my off season grind. That's what I'm gonna do after
Yes,
baseball.
that is. You're gonna go pro for
Oh yeah.
pickleball.
Uh-huh.
It's
I
gonna happen.
can play till I'm 85.
Yeah, you can. I mean, wasn't it an old person sport to begin with, and they made it.
Not anymore.
Now it's not
Hmm.
anymore. Nope. That's amazing. Okay, we have someone who joined us. Luke finally decided
Yeah.
that he wanted to be part of this podcast. So there he is. And yeah, so we'll just keep going with the conversation we had going. So Ethan was talking a little bit about what it was like. We talked a little bit about how he still stays in contact with his family and his brother who is on the West Coast, but we were talking he's in Michigan right now visiting his girlfriend. So we're talking about a little bit about what long distance is like in that sense, which Luke can get a little bit of that, but
It's not
not quite the
easy.
same distance.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I mean, it didn't really change anything from P27 because I was in South Carolina. So once you're that far away, but what's a little bit further, like doesn't really matter. You're already out of driving range
That's
for like a
true.
weekend. But yeah, I mean, she helped me a lot going through the process, even just to have someone to talk to outside of my family. Oh, Luke's
Hmm.
gone. Um, but then just kind of, yeah, being able to have somebody to talk to after the long days was amazing. And now I have this off season, which is just so weird. Like if I was in college, I don't have this like 5 month stretch where I can just be anywhere I want. It's like I'm here
Hmm.
for 2 more weeks. So I'm like, let's go. Like no more weekend, like 3 day visits. You're like, you see each other and the next day you're like, I gotta catch a flight, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so yeah, I'm here for 2 more weeks. I'm like, this is sick. Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, once the season does start up, it'll be a lot tougher just because she'll have to visit me. Like, there's no way I can. You're playing 6 days a week. No way you can go
Mm-mm.
anywhere. Um, but hopefully not too many more years of long distance.
Now, does she go to school?
She does. Yep, she's a junior. She plays basketball at a Spring
Very
Arbor
nice.
University. So,
Okay, very cool. Very
yep.
cool. Now, going along with, so you were committed to the Gamecocks to play right field.
Yep.
Now, again, you do not have to answer any questions that you don't feel like answering, but what kind of helped you make the decision between your commitment for over a year with the Gamecocks to then commit to Tennessee right before signing day?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. There's once again, I kind of have to put myself back in those shoes. I feel feel so removed
Yeah.
from that decision. Um, I mean, I think I could kind of committed to the Gamecocks just because it was like the first big school that reached out to me, and I was just like, "Let's do it." You know, that sounds cool. You can put it in my Instagram bio, like Gamecock commit. uh, but I think as I kept going on, I realized I don't know if I don't know if I want to stay in the Columbia area for 3 more years, kind of spread my wings and fly. Um,
Yes.
and I just didn't think it was going to be the best fit for me as far as just college environment and
Yeah.
what I want to do. So kind of opened up that recruiting process again and was mainly thinking, do I want to go as big as Tennessee or do I want to go somewhere smaller, like a mid-major? Um, and decided, hey, why not go big and try to get a spot on Tennessee? So went to a camp, hit some BP. They liked what they saw and committed there. So that was pretty cool. Um, and yeah, I do think I always wonder what my career would have been if I went to college, but I guess we'll never know.
No, you can always go back to school though. And I mean, I'll ask this question, but I feel like any aspiring baseball player would answer the same way. Do you have any regrets about not going to college and going to the Astros instead?
No, never
Yeah,
once.
I didn't think
I
so.
I did. I was enrolled in English 101 for about 7 days, and that's when I knew college is not for me.
Not it. No.
Yeah, we hadn't even started baseball yet, so I was like, no way, this is awful. No, but
English
actually, like,
101, you said, you know what? If I go to the Astros, that means I don't have to take English 101 right now?
yeah,
Perfect.
it was mainly just the school aspect. It's not that I can't do it;
Yeah,
I don't want to. Um, but actually,
right.
like the guys were great, coaching staff super helpful, like really classy guys over there. So like, there's no resentment at all between me or them. So it's pretty cool. They said
Right.
anytime I'm in Knoxville, I can go train there and say what's up. So it's pretty cool. Really classy guys.
Yeah, they had a great team. They had a fantastic season last
Yeah,
year. So
it's crazy.
yeah, and honestly, I mean, let's be honest, going to the majors is very different. Again, you can always go back
Hmm.
to school. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So
Yeah.
that's pretty
Hmm.
great. Luke, you
I
got
have
anything?
I have a question. I don't know if you already asked this or not. What was draft day like? What
He's gonna
was
have to put himself back in those shoes.
what was
Got
it
ooh,
like?
we got to
What was
reminisce.
it like leading up to the draft? Like, did you know you were going to go when you did, or was it like they you didn't know? Like, because when I was friends with Jackson and he was getting drafted, he was projected 60th in like a second round, third round guy, And then when it got closer to the draft, he started going up higher, and then I got a text from him saying, you might want to watch the first round. So then I knew that he was going to get drafted in the first round. But was that like the same thing for you? Was it like, I know I'm going to go here, and then it was a surprise to go there? Or what was that like?
Yeah, there was a crazy like couple days well, first of all, the weeks leading up to it, after all these workouts, you're just like, it's like something's over your head because it's like all you can think about. It's just like dang. And then you go to college, like you're already enrolled in the classes and moved in and everything, but you're still like haven't fully moved in mentally because you're like, low key, I'm about to bounce out of here in 10 days. But I remember, first day, knew I wasn't going to go in the first 3 rounds, so I didn't even have to worry. And then second day, it was like really quiet. We thought I might have like been later in the second day, and still nothing. So it was a little discouraging actually. And then we're on the third day, and it's like these rounds are going, and I'm expecting to go pretty early in the third day, and it's just like silence. And I'm texting my agent like, what's up, dude? Like, what the heck? I had a great year. Like, it was a great like June of workouts with these scouts, like great feedback. I'm thinking I'm the man, and then it's like radio silence. I'm like, what the heck, dude?
You said, why are there crickets?
Right. And then those rounds kept climbing. I'm like, dang, I was getting my mind wrapped around, I'm gonna be in Knoxville, like I do have to turn in that English paper tonight. Like,
right, I have to like unpack my boxes.
Yeah, I'm like, that thing's due at 11:59 tonight. I gotta start typing. But then it was just like then it's all a blur, like because it happened so fast. It was like, hey, agent was calling me. He said, hey, Astros want to make a deal. Like, would you take this? And I'm like, yes, let's do it. And then so it's kind of all this triangle of communication between you, your agent, and the Astros. And eventually I just received this random call from New Jersey, and I almost didn't even pick it up. I was almost just like, oh, some scam calling me. I'm trying to focus. I'm trying to get drafted right now. And then I just pick it up, and he's like, yo, like, scouting director, we're about to choose you in 6 picks. Are you going to take it? Are you going to sign? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, he's going to sign. He's going to sign, everyone. I was just like, whoa, what's going on? And leading up to this, I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting picked. I was like, yeah, this is crazy. Then he's like,
That's
yeah,
so
literally
cool.
like 5 or 6 picks, your name's going to be up there. And then I was like, everyone, I'm getting picked this round. And then got picked, and it was just like crazy. And then literally a day and a half, I'm on a flight to Houston to get physicals and meet people and sign. So quick turnaround. But yeah, I mean, the draft is so like unpredictable. Like if you look at the mock draft and then what the draft actually was this year, so much different. And just maybe a different year, you get drafted in a different round. Honestly, like this year was a lot of college guys. Astros, we drafted like 17 pitchers. Like there's only a handful of position guys, a lot of free agents. So it's just like so unpredictable. But I'm just glad I got picked where I got picked, and I'm doing what I love. So I don't regret it at all. But those are some sweet days.
I remember seeing all of your videos and TikToks and Instagrams, YouTube, everything like that of your transition. Like, so we were at P27, Ethan would make videos. I mean, he's incredibly talented off the field. Are you still continuing with that? I saw you were just creating a website as well.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, I have a lot of time on my hands. So it's like, even when I was at the complexes, like you'd wake up really early, probably like 5:30, leave for the field at 6. And then you still work a full day, but you're done at like 1. So I was like, wow, I have to figure out something to do with my life. And you're just in a hotel. So that was kind of like the thing I did for fun. Just like take the game footage and make a reel out of it. And some of them turned out really well. So now I'm kind of just figuring out what I want to do with that, and I'm going to continue to make some content, show what it's like to people, because a lot of people are interested, but I more so just have fun with it. And I didn't expect like I don't have a crazy following, but it's starting to grow, and I don't really care as much about that. I was just wanting to make videos and So eventually one day I can look back on it 20 years from now and be like, oh, that was crazy times when I got drafted at 18 years old and just
Right?
went to go. Yeah. Just like I have all that footage from P27. Like, yeah, I was a junior, senior in high school, and I get to see what I was like and how much younger I was
Mm-hmm.
and not very mature. So
Do you ever look back and like, does this ever feel surreal? I'm sure it did at first, but does it still?
yeah, I think like the high school days do, and then it maybe in like 10 years from now, the pro ball will look surreal. It doesn't really feel
Hmm.
surreal when you're there in and out every day and it's like
Yeah.
150 degrees in South Florida. So, but I try to remind myself just to stay present. Like you only get to play the game for so long. So just try to
Hmm.
enjoy it every time I'm out there. But there are some days it's like you first put on the Astros jersey and you're like, this is sick. Like
That's
like wow.
crazy.
Yeah. So that was a surreal moment and signing just like all these fancy people in suits and they were reading the contract to me and I had no clue what was going on. I was just signing papers. I was just like, I
You said, take my
hope it's
picture.
right. Yeah.
I hope I
Yeah.
know how to sign my name in cursive that I learned in
Right.
second grade. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, how, I mean, it's been a very long, difficult, exciting process. How do you kind of choose to wind down, like you said, ground yourself? What do you have any tools? I know you're very, very big in your faith. Is that something that you use as well to kind of ground yourself in this big transition?
Yeah, I think that's been the steady thing in my life always. Like baseball is the most unsteady thing you could ever imagine. Like it's the worst. So if you base your life on that, it's like if you base your life on how good you are at hitting, then your life is just gonna be way up and down all over. So
Yeah.
just to have something to come back to, like just your family and your faith, and to have that and knowing that no matter where you go, you have those things really grounds you. And then like I think what I did understand, I'm kind of still learning now, is like you're go 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 go. You have all these things. Your schedule is mapped out, and then it's like boom, you're on your own. I can live anywhere I want. I have no responsibilities, and it's almost like you have too much freedom to where like for me I can go insane just because like I need something to work on, but I can't do
Yeah.
baseball right now because it's like it's time to chill. um, so I think that's like another element that I'm kind of learning now. It's like, okay, what do I enjoy? I've never had this much time off. It's like a lot of what
Yeah.
that looks like is just like I've been writing music, playing piano and stuff, and my yeah, like I said, my girlfriend goes to college, so I've just been like living the college life, but I don't have to go to any classes, which is like
You
perfect
can
for
help her with
me.
her papers. Yeah.
No, no, not doing that. Not helping with the papers. But I play like we
Oh,
got intramurals, like doing sand volleyball and stuff. So I get to do all the
so
fun stuff
fun.
that I would want to do in college, but none of the classes. Um,
Not the school. Yeah.
yeah, but mainly, yeah, it is tough just going from like 100% to like zero. Um,
Oh, I'm sure.
but you need
And
to
yeah.
just invest in other places in your life, and I do have a lot of other hobbies and talents and skills that I wanted to express. And now I have the time to do it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, discover who you are outside of your sport, which is
Right.
important for life. I mean, let's be honest, baseball players don't, I mean, they don't stay in the sport very long. So they
Yeah.
retire pretty young and then all of a sudden you're supposed to figure out what to do with the rest of your life. So
Right.
that's great. If anyone has seen my Instagram, when I did work for P27, we went on a retreat and Ethan brought his guitar and I didn't know you played piano though.
I do.
Is that
Yep.
new or have you always played piano?
It's newer than the guitar, but it's been for probably 3 years now. So
Very cool. We're gonna see new country artist happening
I don't know about
through here.
country.
No? Okay,
No, I don't
what
think
genre?
I don't think I lived in South Carolina long enough. I don't have the country. I don't know
The
what the
country
The
the
twang.
country
twang, yeah.
twang. Yeah, the twang.
No,
Yeah.
no. Hey, you
I'm
don't
gonna
have to
do.
have that. You
I'm
have a
gonna be
little like
more of a
Chicago thing.
right, right. I think I'm gonna be
Yeah,
more of a
yeah.
singer songwriter, worship music. That's my
I
vibe.
like it. Mm-hmm. I like it. It's good stuff.
I got one
Yeah, go for it, Luke.
question for you. So after you got drafted and you went to Houston and signed the papers to say basically signing your life away to the Houston Astros, what was it like when you first got to their complex in South Florida, and the surreal feeling that it was like, I'm actually in pro ball now?
Yeah, I mean, part of it was surreal. Part of it, I was like severely tired because we you do the physicals. The physical's like 13 hours before you can sign. It's like you wake up at like 4 and you're done at like 3. It's crazy. And then you go to sign, and then they're like, okay, flight's at 4:30 a.m. Like, be ready to go at 4 or so. I was like so
That's
tired.
crazy.
So we actually got into Miami at like 4 a.m. because our flight got delayed so often. Like so many times it got delayed, got switched around. Um, and then like we had to be in the field at 10. So it was just crazy. I was so tired. Um, so honestly, that was a blur too. I don't even remember half of it because I was so dead. But yeah, it was a crazy feeling. You're almost questioning. You're like, do I actually belong here? Like, oh, that's my locker, and like got my name there.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, and all these people are like here to help me and stuff. So it kind of takes like a week or two to be like, yeah, this is what we do. Um, and it is like it's annoying being new anywhere. You're like, where's the bathroom? They're like, oh, go to meet. We have a meeting at this room. It's like, where's that room? You know. So it's so much better when you're like 2 weeks deep. You know where everything is. You know everyone's name. Um, but yeah, it was a crazy feeling. Like first hitting in the cages, hitting on the field, and like meeting all these important people. And I was just trying to soak it all in. I was taking videos and pictures of everything just because I never want to forget it.
You were fangirling, but you
Yes,
actually get
I
to be a
was.
part of it.
But no, like you
I
can only
was. I was
remember so
fangirling.
much of it, and taking pictures is just going to help
Yeah.
the memories.
Yeah. It's some sweet times in life. So
It is.
What was
And
what
really
was
being
that
present is so important. Hmm.
what was that first at bat like in your first complex league game?
yeah, I was low key the first time. So I had done like maybe 2 live at bats, but just against a rehabbing guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then like our first real game against the Marlins, I was playing right field, and low key I was getting blown up. Like the first like 3 pitches, I was like, dang, like this is not looking too good because we hadn't seen live since high school, so it's been since like
Hmm.
May 20th, and it's out here July 20th, and it's like, boom, you got some Dominican dude throwing 95 at you. So I was down in the count, like 1-2, and like got blown up. Probably chased a slider in the dirt. Like I'm low key like, oh geez. But I knew the fastball was coming, and just sat fastball, closed my eyes, and swung and connected on it. So
Yeah, you
that
did.
was pretty much how it went. It wasn't as confident. I wasn't as confident as I looked in the moment. Because those
You played
first
the
two,
part well, though.
yeah, you gotta, even if you're not confident, you just gotta keep like chewing your bubble gum, blowing bubbles, acting like you're confident. So kind of carries through.
Yeah, they don't lie when they tell you it's different when you get to the pros. I mean, crazy. You had a little bit of experience with the diversity from, the Dominican and Japan. I mean,
Yeah,
you had some of that in P27. But yeah, it's totally different. That's crazy. Even someone
yeah,
as power hitting as you and going up to the plate and having a lot of confidence, that is very interesting to hear.
yeah.
Yeah. How has the language barrier been?
Uh, for me, like I actually speak quite a bit of Spanish.
Oh,
Thankfully, I learned a lot in higie school. Um, my best friend Axel Melendez, he would teach me a lot senior year. We roomed every single time on a road trip, just speaking Spanish. So I think it's just harder. It's harder to have like you can't really have a deep conversation. That's where I get limited. But I'd be like, yo, bro, what's
Hmm.
up? How you doing? Kind of trash talk him a little bit. So that's kind of
Yeah.
cool because some of the other guys don't know anything and they don't really know any English, most of them. So that's kind of tough. But I want to take a class like a couple of times this off season so I can really start speaking to my teammates. Because otherwise you can't talk to half of your team, which kind of sucks. Like you want to know
It's
them. They're
true.
cool. They're really cool guys, super funny, like, but you don't know what they're saying, so you kind of just laugh along like you know what's going on, but you have no clue.
Right.
You just laugh
And all of
just
a
because
sudden they're
they're
actually not saying something funny, and you're like, oh, that's
right. It could have
interesting.
been
Why are they
something
looking at
totally
me like
messed
that?
up. It could be totally messed up, and you're laughing.
Right. He Axel texted me the other day because I asked him how he was doing, and he responded, and I thought that when we were there that he just said Cindy, like he would always call me Cindy, and I was like, oh, like whatever. He texted and spelled my name Sindy.
Oh yeah.
Um, I was
But the
like,
thing is,
how you doing, man?
he has no excuse because he speaks English just fine. He knows
None, no
everything.
excuse.
He just purposely called you
No,
Cindy. He doesn't like Cindy.
he totally did, and spelled it that way too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everything else was perfect, but I was like, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's doing great too.
I think I'm curious as to, I'm sure that, this is still new for you. You're still taking advice, but what would you recommend to someone who was in a similar place as you were? Whether that be, I know you're using your social media and your platforms to show what it's like. You did that at P27, but what it's like to be drafted and to be out of high school in a pro setting. But what kind of advice are you hoping people can take from those?
Yeah, I mean, I think advice for the people like before getting drafted, uh, like just enjoy it genuinely. Like be where you are. You like be present. Don't worry about the future too much. Like at the end of the day, it's really not up to you. So just do what you can do. Like there was nothing on that draft day that I did different, or nothing throughout the whole year that I did different. I just played baseball, had fun. If people liked how I played, then maybe I'd have a chance getting drafted. But even if there was a lot of teams that liked how I played and loved me, and I never got a phone call there. So that just shows you like you have no control over it. So just control what you can control. That's what they tell us like every day in pro ball. Just control what you can control. You can't even control like getting moved up, getting sent down. None of that. All you can control is just what you can control. Like get up every day, work hard, do what you need to do, make relationships. Um, and then I think like through just showing people a little bit more what it's like is like it's not as like glamorous as maybe people think. I mean, maybe it is for like the first rounders or something, but pretty much for everyone else, you're out here grinding. So it's kind of like cool to show people that side. Like, uh, it's tough every day, like working long hours and people constantly like you're on this. We have this thing called Hawkeye, and it's literally like 13 cameras, and it's just watching your every single move. So like that's your work every day is constantly people are like they got video, they got radar, they have everything, they're critiquing everything. Like we have this whole thing called Slack, and they just send video of like things you do that are bad, things you do that are good, and you're like, dang, every day it's tough being just evaluated. Um, but yeah, just kind of like people are really curious about it, which I don't always see it because I kind of just live it every day. So it's like, oh yeah, of course they're videoing everything you do, but then to other people it's like, oh wow, that's kind of interesting. Um, but yeah, advice just enjoy it. Like it's really at the end of the day, it's a really small. If I have a really successful career and I play till I'm 35 or 40, well then you're 40, and it's like it might not even be half of your life that you played baseball. So it's for such a short amount of time, and that's if you're an all-star and probably a Hall of Famer. Reality is like most people play till they're out of college, maybe. So like just don't take it for granted. And what I've learned is the most important thing is the relationships that you make. That's the thing that keeps me playing the game. I think I like that more than the game even. Just the team culture.
And it sounds like the Astros have a really great team culture considering what your experience was like coming on board. And again, I feel like I can tell this from the way that you talk, but you sound, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you still have that love for the game that little kids have. Do you feel like you still have that love for the game, that you're just having fun? It doesn't feel like a job. And obviously you just got drafted, but it's like you said, it's a grind.
Yeah, I think you have to fight to keep it that way. Like keep it like it's a game and not a job. Because you are, at the end of the day, you're an employee and you're trying to just bring them value. And if you're not, then you're not going to be playing for very long. But it's really like you can think about that a lot, but you can't think about that every day, like thinking, oh, maybe if I don't get a hit here, they're gonna fire me or something. Like just enjoy where you're at. Don't like you can't worry about all that outside stuff and worrying about that. Just kind of know your value, know that you belong, and everything will take care of itself. But as far as like keeping the game as a game, I mean, I don't think I just like joking around so much. And baseball, you have so much time between BP and all this stuff. You have so much time just to talk. So like that's why I love it. You can just joke around and like the Dominican guys, it's the most basic like English things, but it's hilarious. It doesn't even make sense, but you just make people laugh. So it's like such a joy. And like yeah, that's why I play the game. So as soon as I stop having fun, then maybe I'll stop playing. Like but of course they're like the reality is though you don't show up every day like, yay, I'm here, let's go. There's like a handful of days out of the year that you're like, dang. But you grind through them and you try to get back on the rise and just have fun with the game.
Yes, sir. What an inspiration, for real. I can't imagine what your songwriting is like if this is how you just speak. Come on. So being from Chicago, this is like one of my last questions, so no worries. But you're from Chicago. Are you a White Sox fan or a Cubs fan or
Oh
neither?
no, White Sox. Ugh. I mean, especially now. But like from growing up around the area, no one likes the White Sox fans. Okay, they're in the minority. No one likes them. They aren't good at baseball. Not saying the Cubs are that much better, but I mean, it doesn't take much to be better than the White Sox. So
Everyone's better
hopefully
than
you
the
know
White
that by the
Sox.
answer. Go Cubbies.
Go Cubbies.
I was actually
And
just
you know what? Everyone is better than the White Sox right now.
yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, so bad. But yeah, I actually did a presentation on the White Sox today in my finance class because obviously with no fans you don't have any money. But we were talking about that, and it's so interesting. They want to like build a new field or whatever, and it's like they don't have any money for that. Plus their biggest fan, Barack Obama, who has thrown out the first pitch for the past however many years. No one has seen him in a little White Sox jersey, which I think is a sign that y'all have really. This is not your year. This is not your year. But I mean, all teams have been there, so they all can come back up.
Look, that's the problem with the White Sox fans culture. See, it's a lot deeper than the game. Cubbies, man, we sucked for like what, 108 years? But you go to Wrigley and we sucked. That game is still packed. We're still singing, we're flying the flag, even if we only get to fly it a couple times a year. You're singing the seventh inning stretch, like good fan vibes. White Sox, as soon as they're not doing good, like they're out of there. It's terrible. Terrible
The
fan
Orioles
culture.
are the same way. I mean, I read an article and it was about our fan, like we're having a great season right now, and everyone was like, oh well, as soon as we have a good season, like our attendance will be up. We had a total of like 2 million fans. It should easily be 3 million. I bet the Cubs in their losing season had more fans than we did. And I think that's crazy because we're like loyal fans too. You would think that when we're winning that we would have fans as well, but maybe not. Maybe more people are going to the Nats game, which Orioles, it's a fun environment in there. We got like a whole little splash zone now.
Good vibes.
Yeah. Good
stadium-
vibes and good fans.
I don't think building a new stadium is going to make more fans come and make you more money. I don't think that's how that works. Last I checked, Wrigley Field has been there for all those years, and they still didn't play well for 108 of them. So it's not the stadium. Sorry.
It's just vibes. That's the best word.
All about the vibes. Seems like the Astros got some pretty good vibes too, so I feel
Good
like you'll
vibes.
only add to that.
Good vibes.
All right, Ethan, well, we have taken up enough of your time. Thank you so much for coming on here. If there's
Yeah.
anything else you'd like to add, we'd love to hear it. But you are incredible. You've done more in your 18, 19 years of life than most people will do their entire life. So I'm excited to see where you go and the things that you accomplish, and
We shall
enjoy
see.
your off season.
Yeah, thank you. I will.
All right, we'll talk later. Thank you.
Peace.
Bye. Well, that was an incredible podcast episode. I love him. He's got a great head on his shoulders, especially as a young MLB athlete.
Yes.
Like I think he's in the right direction. I'm excited to see
He's
where he
got some
goes.
good potential. I hopefully see him in Houston very soon.
I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
A couple things before we get going. Golf wise, the President's Cup starts today, the 26th. It is the United States versus the international team. The international team is comprised of countries that are not in Europe. And because of that, because the U.S. plays countries in Europe in the Ryder Cup every other year, and they play countries in the international team every other year. So it alternates President's International Cup. And that is in Montreal, Canada, in Quebec, at Montreal Country Club, Montreal Country Club. And it is 4-ball, which means today's 4-ball, and then alternate shot, which means the first round is 2 guys in the U.S. team, 2 guys in the national team go out, and they each play their own ball, and they take the best score from the 2 guys. And I think there's 5 groups, and then in the afternoon it'll be alternate shot, which means the guys on the team alternate shots every hole. So hopefully the U.S. wins on foreign soil, even though it's only across the border in Canada and Montreal. But
Have you done any sort of research that you think like how the results will end up? Do you think the U.S. will do pretty well?
yeah, I think they'll do pretty well. I don't know how well they're gonna do, but I do think that the U.S. will win. I think they have better golfers than the international team, but the international team has a little bit more experience. They're a little older, but we'll see. I think that it'll be a close tournament and close Ryder Cup or President's Cup, and I think it'll be like won by maybe 3 or 4 points. I don't think it'll be any more than that.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I like watching close golf.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Very cool. Well, to end this podcast episode, I do have a question for you, Luke. How tall was the tallest NBA player ever?
It was Manute Bol. He played for the Washington Bullets, Washington Bullets. No, Baltimore Bullets. Baltimore Bullets. He was 7'6".
Oh, you were so close.
What was he?
7'7".
Oh, dang it! No. Oh.
So close, but dang.
He was on the same team with Muggsy Bogues, Muggsy Bogues. I can't remember how you pronounce his last name. But he was on the same team with Muggsy, who was the shortest player in the history of the NBA. And I thought that was funny, that Muggsy and Manute were on the same team. They were the tallest and the shortest guys on the team. But yes, I don't think you knew I was going to know his name.
No, I didn't.
But yeah, I do. Played for the Baltimore Bullets.
I was with some I did a golf tournament this weekend with some NBA players, and I've never felt so small in my life.
Who were they?
Alex English. Oh gosh, I have to look up who else they were. Well, we also played with George Rogers for the South Carolina, who was the Heisman Trophy winner from South Carolina Gamecock football.
Okay.
He was so fun. Ralph. Hold on, I gotta look it up. Ralph Sampson.
Okay.
D- Artist Gilmore.
I know who he is.
There was another one. Herb something. Let's see. That's not him. Herb. Oh, Herb Williams. There were so many others. I'll have to tell you, but those were just a few, and it was really cool to play with them and to listen to them talk. It was. I mean, they were also so tall, but a lot of them can play some serious golf. So that was super fun. One of them
How did
was.
you play?
It was okay. It was just for the fun of the tournament. It was we were playing par, so as soon as we got to par, I mean there were very few holes that my drives were really good. We did
That's
have
all that
some
matters.
long putts. We were playing best ball. Um, but yeah,
Did
I
you
had
use
some
any of
long
your
putts that were
shots?
pretty close. Yes. Yeah. But we did have a girl on our foursome that was much better. So but
As
she
long
was
as they're using
incredible.
your
It
shots, you
was
feel like you're helping the team out.
Exactly. We did use my shot quite a few times, but
Good.
yeah, we were playing par, and there were a lot of people, so we didn't quite get to like take our time. But it was all for the fun of the tournament and to represent our school. So it was us four women. We represented our program and our school, and we got to be around some pretty important people. So that was pretty fun.
Good.
Yeah. Well, anyways, thank y'all for joining our podcast this week. It was a pleasure to have Ethan on, and we will see you next week.
And Luke Hurst.
See ya.
Bye.